Alright guys, the video we just finished recording had completely scuffed audio, so what I'm going to do is just going to try and clean the audio up as best I can, and you'll just have to try and make do with it. But I like the channel to be authentic and one take, so I don't want to go and repeat myself. Okay guys, I kind of like doing these quick throw up videos, keeps the channel active and it lets me discuss a few things that maybe I don't want to do a whole video on. So Diablo 4 is coming out. And you know me, I came from Gears of War. If for somehow you've stumbled across this channel and you don't know, I played Gears until the very end, and I've played it for about 16-17 years, and obviously Rod Ferguson was one of the main guys there. Rod Ferguson had like 16 plus years to add depth to the game, didn't really do so, and from insider sources, fact, he's the reason Gears kept getting brighter and brighter, and he loved the bright maps. So, I don't have massively high opinions of Rod as a game developer, or kind of his vision for the grander things in terms of video games, I'll be honest. But he was instrumental in the famous Gears of War franchise that I love, and I can't take that away from him, and I do think he has his heart in the right place at times. However, he does have a tendency to love a bit of the, whack the mic there, LA showcase, and a bit of things that maybe don't quite belong in my opinion. So he's obviously jumped to Diablo, and we've seen that he added like wrestlers to Gears of War, and dancing and colourful skins and bright maps and all that, right? And now we're beginning to see maybe a few little inklings in Diablo as to what's kind of going on. If you don't know, and if you're unaware, you have to pay to get the game early. So if we go to my replies here, I wonder if we're going to have any about Diablo. We were beginning to discuss about creators getting early access to the game. So what he did was he said, hey, copies going out to people. You get to play and complete the game early and get all of your content out. So all of that excitement about discovering combinations, which is literally the entire point of an ARPG. We've had content creators for days and days and weeks playing the entire game, figuring out every nook and cranny, and on day one they're going to come out with full reviews, full build guides, full everything that nobody else can compete with. Okay, fair enough. I'm sure they gave it to the Diablo 3 guys that kept that game alive right up until the end. No, they just basically gave it to any old shill. So all the shill reviewers are out. So here's some advice. Wait a week or two, because after a week or two, you'll get the proper reviews where people have had time to actually play the game themselves and not shill. Because if you've got an early copy of Diablo, you're going to be a shill, trust me. Right, and I'm not wrong on these things. I wasn't wrong on Redfall. If you want to rewind a few years ago, was it like last year, I did a showcase on Redfall and I said, this is going to be a terrible game and everyone's hyping it. I wasn't wrong there. So, trying to just find the actual quote here, but I am struggling. Effectively, right, what ended up happening was I said that it was unfortunate that Diablo was been locked behind a paywall, and they said, it's not locked behind a paywall. You could just choose to play it 4 days earlier and pay, or not. Well, that's locked behind a paywall, isn't it? So what's ended up happening is he's lifting this embargo, and he's obviously kind of dropped himself in it. So what this means, and why it kind of shows where he is this particular phrase here. Now, most people would be like, who cares? They've done the review of the game like everybody does, and we'll move on. But the thing is, it's like not quite understanding what Diablo and an ARPG is. So what he's asking here, if you're unsure, is they're saying, can you make sure the creators can't be in the race because it's unfair? And Rod goes on to say, how would deleting all of their progress and making them start the game give them an unfair advantage? Basically what he means is, okay, so we take all these reviewers and we delete all of their content and all of their progress, and everybody starts day one at the same level for the race. How is that unfair? And it's like, Rod, do you not realise they've got like a month plus of Diablo information in their brain? Like, you can't get rid of that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's had all these years with Gears. He's very good at shipping a game. He'll give it to all the PR people. I've seen the people. I've seen the people who get the stuff. I've seen people with Diablo crates that I know personally, like as in real life I know them, and they're complete shills, and they've been given Diablo crates. They've had like people from LA, all that kind of stuff, so that's completely wrong. And it doesn't get that it says, how would it give them an unfair advantage? And it's like, well, they've played the game for weeks and weeks and weeks and played the full game, so when they start off leveling, they know where they're going, where to move, what skills to take, it'd be like playing Path of Exile and then wiping my account and then racing a brand new player in Path of Exile. I'm obviously going to win. Yes, we've each got no gear, but I've got all the knowledge of an ARPG, and the entire point of an ARPG is it's exciting to learn the knowledge. So there's two things here. Either he's completely clueless and has no idea about what an ARPG is, or the game is so dull and so boring that he's had to give the game out to a load of PR shills to hype it up, and he's quite well aware that, man, our game's so simple, these guys ain't going to even have that much of an advantage for for the month that they've got. Like, there's not that much going on, so I'm sure you can keep up. So there's also, like, you know, just general not quite understanding why it's annoying to be locked behind a paywall. And yeah, I just think you've, like, Diablo 3, when did Diablo 3 come out? Because I remember trying to get this at a physical game store. It was 2012 and it was out of stock everywhere. So people have waited, like, say they completed Diablo 3 campaign, they've waited a full decade for this. So they've waited 10 years, right? And Diablo have decided, or Blizzard, and he's happy to push it because that's his job and that's what he does. Hey, it's brilliant because if you pay us more money, you'll get the game 4 days earlier. Now, the game's already finished, it's already been completed, and once the game is finalised and it's, you know, it's on disc and it's ready to go, you can release it whenever you want. So they've just arbitrarily said, this is the release date, but if you want to give us more money, you get it 4 days early. So that really is the release date, except you've got to pay more money for it. And if you've waited 10 years, $15, $20 or whatever it is, isn't that much to skip 4 days of grind and seeing all the drops and seeing all the hype on the internet. So most people are going to do it. They're going to pay the $20, and that's why these trends get normalized. And I've also seen it on Twitter when I moaned about it. People were saying they're not locking it behind a paid release. You can just choose to get it earlier by paying. And I'm like, well, yeah, obviously that means they've locked it behind a paywall. But this is how these crap systems get normalized, because yes, people have been waiting a decade. They're obviously going to spend $15 or $20 to go and get Diablo 4 early, right? So yeah, it's coming out. When does it come out? Like, if we look at the price of it, we've got Diablo 5 pre-purchase, Windows, so you can see. You've also got like really strange monetization. So, like, I don't even like the naming, to be honest. It's kind of a bit in your face. You've got Standard Edition, which is the game. So you don't, you know, you get the game, but you have to pay to pre-order it, which gives you the early access. If you pay a bit more money, you get, there you go, you get 4 days early access, and you get a thing called a temptation mount. Like, the fact they're even calling it temptation, I feel like is like they just know people are going to buy it. And then you've got armor, which we have no idea, you know, is that armor really rare? I'm not saying like stat wise, I just mean, is it a transmog or is it something unique? Then you've got Battle Pass. So you've got a game that comes out that's really expensive that you can then pay again to get early, and then you can pay sort of again to get a Battle Pass skip. You know, and they're like, the most ridiculous thing about all of this is they're calling the Ultimate Edition the best value. It's not the best value. is the most expensive, right? That's not what that means. Oh, it's the best value because you get the most stuff. No, it's the most expensive. So I would just say wait a few weeks. I don't know if I'm going to buy this straight away. I'm probably going to buy it August, something like that. I'll wait like a month, and if it's good or I've watched enough of it, I'll play it. But otherwise, I'm not jumping in early, because let me tell you, when you look at Diablo 4 and you look at all of the shills that are just mad hyping it up, 24 hours till the reviews start to land. Yeah, who are the reviews? The reviews are the people that were allowed to get the game early. Somebody critical, like this guy has a great channel. It's called Worth a Buy, right? He really is truly honest about his games, and as a result, he doesn't get many views because his video comes out super late because the devs block him from getting a key, and he plays through most of the game first to give an honest opinion. So these guys end up not getting the views, but the shills that get first to market, so to speak, they get all the views, and they know that, and that's why they give it to the shills, because not only are they going to be the reviews that get all of the views, they also know that review is going to be positive because, hey, we've given you some free stuff. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. There's not going to be, I would very, very heavily doubt that any single review coming out on launch of the review date of the embargo is going to be heavily critical of the game. So I would just discount all of them. Just discount them. Like we have this fire emoji, pre-purchase the Ultimate Edition, fire emoji. What? Pay us more money. What's exciting about that? So, yeah. Who knows?